you guys, and welcome back. This is episode 79 of Radio Gorepress.
Sure is.
As ever, I am with my lovely co-host Sarah. We are again bereft of a Phil. It's becoming a bit of a...
It's just Radio Gorepress Ladies Edition now.
It is Ladies Edition for Women in Horror Month. Whoop whoop.
Unplanned, Phil just isn't here.
Purely serendipitous.
We had planned to cover some good stuff for Women in Horror Month.
Yeah, and we are.
Yeah.
We're just doing it without stinky boys.
It's just serendipitous that the only two people that showed up have vaginas.
Serendipitous. Before we get any further, if you're a first-time listener, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. We love you and we're happy to have you in the Gore-fam. Before we start, don't forget to check out www.radiogorepress.com. Give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook by searching for Radio Gorepress. Give us a like, subscribe on YouTube, and we will include all the relevant links in the blurb.
Yep, I can do that.
Thank you. So yeah, we've had a wicked girly evening.
We have,
and we have. Not gonna lie, we've covered a cracker of a film for you guys. But before we get into that, we thought that we would talk a little bit about a bit of horror news, stuff that we've been watching, stuff that we've been doing. So, Sarah, what have you got for me first?
Catch up time! I feel like we need some sort of catch up time jingle.
Do 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 do.
That'll do.
That was it. That was the jingle. Do 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 do.
That's exactly what we needed.
Catch up time. Yeah, right?
We didn't even plan that.
So, what have you been up to, Sarah? Because I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks.
I went on holiday. Fucked off to Lisbon for a bit.
Did you enjoy it?
It was lovely.
Aww.
Lisbon is not my favourite place that I visited.
Okay.
The first couple of days were kind of grey and a bit rainy. The first day was really, really rainy.
Was it proper miserable, stormy weather?
It was dead mizzog.
And for the Americans among us?
No.
Right overcast.
Not going to translate. That's the most northern thing I've said so far
It was
today.
dead mizzog. Work it out yourselves.
Yeah, and I just think everywhere looks better in the sunshine, obviously.
Yeah, of course. It can really bring you down when you go somewhere and it's all like grey and miserable and...
Yeah, it was one of those... Do you know, like, if you go away and you sort of eagerly check the weather reports the few weeks beforehand and continue counting down, and then the day we left it was like, it's changed!
It's gonna be shit.
Yeah, so we had a couple of grey days, but that just meant we went to museums, did indoors stuff.
You go on such exploratory holidays.
Exploratory.
Get out of my exploratory Didi. But you do. You go around or you look up Atlas Obscura, which is an amazing site for looking up places to go on holiday.
It's the best.
And you always find like really fun places to go and fun places to drink wine. And from your social media, it is apparent that you drank quite a lot of wine.
Mostly wine, yes. And coffee. Portuguese coffee, excellent.
What's the difference?
I'm no coffee connoisseur, so I can't give details. It was just so tasty. And also, all of the plant milks that we had out there were like just a bit nicer and creamier than the ones you get in the UK.
Oh, I'm about that.
So good. We found there was a little cafe around the corner from where we stayed in Bairro Alto. And it was a vegan cafe, and they had vegan versions of pastel de nata, the little custard tarts.
Oh, no, I've never had one of those.
And they did oat milk lattes, so that was every morning.
How are you not the size of a house?
All the fucking hills I'm walking. That's literally it.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was good. We went to a castle, we went to Pink Street, ended up in a gay bar.
Yes.
We didn't know it was a gay bar.
I mean, that wouldn't have stopped you going, presumably.
No, of course not. But we were sat in there and we sort of looked around and went, everything is pink, and we're listening to George Michael.
There are so many chaps. People are wearing so many pairs of chaps.
We were the only people in there, I hasten to add, so it wasn't immediately obvious. No, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you had a good break.
Yeah.
Although I feel like, as with all exploratory holidays, you probably came back more tired than you left.
Oh yeah, I need a holiday now.
Spain?
Or at least a massage.
Anybody?
Yeah, now.
And that's the end of the show. I'm gonna go and rub Sarah's shoulders. I'm not.
Oh.
I'm gonna drink some more wine instead.
Okay, you must.
Unfortunately, I haven't really been up to an awful lot. I've been a bit of a hermit, and I am the first person to admit that I find January and February kind of hard.
Everyone does. January's the goddamn worst.
Oh, something about just like the end part of January, swooping into February, all the way through until like my birthday, shameless plug, send me shit, is just so dull, so grey, makes me very, very desperately sad, and
I can confirm that this is definitely not unique to you.
Yeah.
It is the goddamn worst time of year.
Oh, God, I hate it. I can't get over it. So, yeah, I've basically been holding myself up in my house. I've been making gift tags.
Oh.
I've been, like, hand-making drawn gift tags.
For?
Just to, like, have in a box.
Oh, okay.
So that when I buy people presents, I can just flick through my little box of gift tags and go, yes, this one is perfect.
Well, perhaps when the coronavirus has wiped everyone out,
yeah,
and there's just a handful of humans left, you can use them to barter for things.
I thought
they could become new currency, Rosie.
I thought you were going to say when everyone's dead from the coronavirus, I should use the gift tags as, like, identity tags on people's toes.
That went dark then. Jeez. You're right.
I don't think anybody's going to be swapping a protein bar for a gift tag.
Depends how good the gift tag is.
I mean, they're pretty good. I'm not going to lie. I spent a lot of time on them.
But they could become like the new banknotes.
Like bottle caps in
Royal
Fallout.
Bank of Rosie.
There's a Royal and Rosie in the same
Except
sentence.
They won't have like
Nuka
Nuka-Cola written on them.
No, they'll have like happy birthday.
I mean, people will still need to wish people happy birthday. The few survivors.
I think that's a niche in the apocalyptic market.
Yeah, but it's one nobody else is going to think of.
I'm on it. Oh no, we've just broadcast it to everyone. Shit.
Well, quick, put the patent out. Corner the market, quickly.
You can't patent gift tags.
You can. I just said it. That makes it true.
Ooh,
IDST.
Can you say that I'm really rich?
Rosie, you're really rich. I'm not magic.
Fuck. Oh. So we caught up on a bit of news this week as well. We just watched the trailer for the second season of Altered Carbon.
Yes, I believe that came out yesterday.
It is right directly past go collect £200 up my alley.
I figured it would be. I'm going to embarrass myself now and say I didn't even finish watching season 1.
Is there a reason you didn't finish watching it? Because it did get a little bit fucking weird towards the end.
It wasn't the weirdness, it just didn't grab me.
I can appreciate why, although it did grab me. I was fully invested in it.
I quite like Joel Kinnaman.
Yes.
He was good.
He's one of those people that I feel like I should find attractive, and
but
I don't.
Same. There's just something a bit off.
Like, he has a technically very nice face.
Yeah. I think I hate him because the remake of RoboCop was so dog shit.
Did they shoot a guy in the dick in the remake of RoboCop?
I switched it off about 20 minutes in.
Oh, well, you know, that's that would have sold it, to be fair.
There was no Peter Weller, so...
Oh.
Sad times. I nearly said Paul Weller.
There was also no Paul Weller in it, incidentally.
I'm guessing.
Not that I know. I mean, you turned it off.
Maybe he turned up in the third act. We'll never know.
Altered Carbon looks awesome.
Anthony Mackie, though.
Yeah. I don't know if I completely forgot the end of season 1.
See, I mean...
Which could well have happened because it's me, or that came completely out of left field.
But this is it. Because obviously I didn't watch it through to the end of season 1, so I don't know how relevant that is, because obviously at the beginning of season 1 we saw that he didn't look like Joel Kinnaman. Like, that's not the guy.
So...
Do you know what I mean, though? Like...
Yeah, so basically, Joel Kinnaman is a skin.
Yeah.
He's like a body that somebody else's consciousness inhabits. And you can switch bodies out.
Yeah.
And the better the body, the stronger the body, the more beautiful the body, the more expensive it is. And he was taken and put into a very expensive... like top of the range body because somebody effectively bought him.
Oh, yeah.
And so they like took him out of prison and put him into this like lovely body and went, you've got to do all this shit. And he...
Can I just say, if I die, can you like transport my consciousness into Mackenzie Davis, please?
I am putting your consciousness directly...
No, you're going to say into my cat or something.
Into back.
Don't do that.
I was going to say into a corgi chihuahua cross. So it'd be like a corgi, but it'd just have a weird little sticky out tongue.
There is a corgi chihuahua cross that lives at the printing shop right near my office. And every time I walk past there, I just go a little bit out of my way so I can look at him behind the baby gate in the office.
That's you when you die.
It is... the chunkiest chihuahua I have ever seen. Like, imagine a really hench chihuahua. It's brilliant.
Like, it's been getting swole.
Yeah. It's the best.
Do you know what it's called?
No.
You should go in.
Matt said if he were to name it, he would call it Juan Cena. So now that is its name.
Juan Cena. Yeah. You can't see me. Oh, Juan Cena. That's the best thing that I've heard this week.
That's the most Matt thing you've heard this week.
To be fair, it's the only Matt thing I've heard this week. I think.
Lucille licked his chocolate.
Lucille licked his chocolate and he left some cashews out for a squirrel. That's about all I know.
Oh, the life of Matthew. For those that aren't familiar, if you're new to the podcast, Matt is my housemate and long-time friend of both of us.
And Lucille's a cat.
Lucille is a cat. To give you context, he's a good dude. He built the original Gorepress website.
He did. He's fully invested.
He is
within the Gorepress realm.
He's one of the family.
Oh, Matt.
We're only saying nice things because he's not here.
Yeah.
And if he never listened to
If he was sitting on the sofa playing like Gears of War or something, we'd be swearing behind his back.
Almost certainly.
Yes, very excited about Altered Carbon. Very excited to see where Mackie like takes the role as well, because having two actors playing the same person and having to maintain a consistency throughout that role, I think that's going to be really difficult.
I kind of love that though, because it asks some really deep philosophical questions about what makes you you. I love that.
Yeah, the fact that I mean, it's not how you look, but
it's not how you speak. It's not.
But is it how you hold your body, or how you like move your head, or the intonations in your words, or the manner in which you're thinking, or like are they going to take it that literally all the way through?
Maybe. I'd be interested to see.
I would be really interested to see.
I would watch season 1 to its conclusion just so I could pick up season 2 and have it
judge
make sense.
Season 2.
Also, Anthony Mackie's great, and he's got to be like one of the hardest working actors in Hollywood currently, because he's in everything lately.
What else has he been in?
I mean, like a bunch of the Marvel movies. He's Falcon.
Yeah, of course.
So Falcon and Winter Soldier's coming out.
Yep.
It might be this year actually. Either this year or next year.
Is that the series?
Yeah, the miniseries.
And he's been all falcony up in this bitch for ages.
Since.
Oh God, I don't know.
I think he was introduced in Winter Soldier.
That would make sense.
I want to say the second Captain America movie.
I'm sure that if we're wrong, somebody will pick us up on it.
Yeah, I think I'm right.
I think you're right.
We
both think you're right.
Doubting myself now. But yeah, he was in the last series of Black Mirror. He gets about a lot, and he's been in like really, really high profile stuff going back years, like The Hurt Locker.
Oh wow!
Really, really prestigious stuff. He's a really good actor. So I'm excited.
And I feel like kind of quite underrated as well.
Yeah, hugely.
Like really
I think he's
represented
to get the recognition he deserves, but it's been a long time coming.
That's been some hard graft for him. Oh yeah, for sure. What else have we got? What else have we heard about this week?
There is a new Netflix series dropping on February the 26th of this month, in the UK at least.
Yes.
Called I Am Not Okay With This.
Yes. Looks really, what's the word? Ambiguous. Really don't...
They give nothing away, other than like potentially a period piece. Like it could be 80s, 90s.
I feel like what they've kind of done, because the entire trailer is basically a very, very short conversation between a girl and a boy who's in a car. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that standalone would have been a bit shit, but they've massively name dropped by doing it.
Yes. So I believe it's the same writers as The End of the Fucking World.
Yes.
Same producers as Stranger Things. And the two kids in the trailer are Sophia Lillis and Wyatt Olef from It.
Yeah.
So talk about your trifecta of like...
Right? They're...
what's on the pulse of what teenagers want, particularly.
Like hitting all the nails on all the heads.
But it's what teenagers want, and it's what we want based on nostalgia.
Yeah, to have that kind of...
So it's kind of genius.
It is. It kind of feels a bit lazy.
It does.
Like,
they know
almost
they've cornered their
formulaic.
audience.
Like, they can go, right, we'll take the writer from this thing and the producer from this thing, and then we'll get these actors in it, and it will make millions.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure some bod higher up at Netflix had that exact thought and just went, we're onto something.
Do you think they've got 3 Gachapon machines, and one's got like writers, one's got producers, and one's got actors, and they just
hit jumble,
get little eggs out, and then open them up and go, yep, that's who we've got.
Probably.
I mean, I'm not averse to that.
No, I'm not mad at it.
As long as they're always good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's super intriguing.
I still think, I mean, I don't know if Netflix are upping their game, because obviously one of the most popular shows in the last 6 months has been The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Which I imagine has them shitting themselves a little bit, because if that's the calibre of stuff Disney Plus is going to be putting out,
right,
Netflix have to up their game. And Netflix have a really good track record at this point, but they also have a record of pissing people off by cancelling shows after the 2nd season.
Yeah, without a doubt.
They seem to give things a 1-season chance, and then
if
they're
it's
like,
not Stranger Things, then they cancel it.
And then they give it a season 2, and then they cancel it. Yeah. I'm still not over the OA, Netflix. I'm sure you're listening. I don't doubt
like the OA.
I loved it.
I watched maybe 2 episodes, and I was like, nah. And it's weird because it's sci-fi, should have got well into it, but
it was batshit mental.
It was very strange.
And it took me a long time to get used to the weird interpretive dance without laughing every time.
Right.
But I was so sold.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe that... Is it still on there, the first couple of seasons?
The first 2 seasons are on there, but they have cancelled it.
Is it just going to make me angry if I watch the first couple of seasons? Because I can't watch any more?
I'm angry there isn't going to be any more.
Right.
But I'm still glad I got to see series 1 and 2. Series 2 goes really off the deep end. It's so strange.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you exactly what happened in it.
Is there a polar bear?
No, there's a giant octopus though.
Oh, what the fuck? As soon as there is insert random animal into the show, I'm like, nah, I've checked out.
Oh, this gets so weird.
Like the tiger
in Walking Dead,
or lion or whatever it is, tiger. Mm-hmm. The polar bear in Lost. Mm-hmm. Apparently the kraken in the OA.
It talks. It like telepathically communicates with someone. And I realise I'm not selling it, but it's so good.
Fuck my life.
If you can suspend disbelief and get on for the crazy train ride that it is...
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have a blast with it.
Oh, brilliant.
It's so strange, though.
I'm also quite annoyed with Netflix for either commissioning shows or picking up shows, getting people hooked on a season or two, and then transferring them to different platforms.
Oh, like what?
The Expanse was a massive one.
Was that gone to Prime?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely loved The Expanse. It was hard sci-fi, actually had some like quite decent scientific roots as well in terms of its physics.
Is that nobody else is going to understand what I mean when I say this?
Yeah.
Is that the one with one of the really starey twins in it, or am I thinking of Dark Matter?
The Starry Twins from Shrine.
Yeah,
I know exactly.
One of the Ashmores. We're not sure which.
Oh no, I think that's Dark Matter.
Right, okay. So I haven't seen The Expanse.
The
Expanse is Thomas Jane in the hat.
Yeah, it's got the ship, the Rocinante, in it, and the first ship that built the mining ship that they're on is called the Canterbury.
Oh no, I don't remember that. I might not have seen it.
It's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, hard sci-fi.
Is
all
it
about
that Netflix cancelled it and somebody else picked it up?
I don't think so. I think Netflix sold it to Prime.
Oh, right. So they did just palm it off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Which made me really sad, mostly because I don't have Prime anymore. And I feel like they've done that with other stuff as well. Or they keep on... Or, releasing series that are really under the radar, but then suddenly advertising the shit out of them for, Series 2. They did that with Dark. Season 1 of Dark, I was banging on about it for ages, and everyone was like, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Season 2 got released, and suddenly everyone was like, oh, have you seen the show Dark? I was like, get fucked. Now I do not want to watch it. And I haven't seen Season 2.
Oh no!
Because
your opposition of defiance
I ruined it for myself. Yeah, I spoiled it for myself. But talking of weird thriller, because it is kind of thriller. It's temporal thriller.
Yeah.
You wanted to tell me about...
Well, I haven't watched any films in the last fortnight. I was away for about 6 days, and I didn't have a great deal of time. I'm lying. As I say the words, I'm just like, that doesn't sound right.
No, I'm lazy.
It's just I didn't have an awful lot of time to watch films, but then I managed to binge watch 3 entire TV shows. So
that's why you didn't have enough time to binge watch films.
It's not because I had no free time. It's because I was making my eyes go square watching other shit. So yeah, I binge watched 3 series of 3 Netflix shows.
That is insane.
I binge watched one of them just yesterday when I got home off holiday.
Sarah!
And I went to work.
Have you got a time turner?
Maybe.
Have you got temporal worms?
And I was in bed for 11 to phone you.
Fucking hell. You must have literally just done nothing else.
No, I went to work.
Yeah, but... How?
I don't know. And then I went to Sainsbury's and then I came home. And I did yoga.
Are you sure you didn't just crowbar in another day somewhere?
I'm pretty sure I watched it yesterday. You're making me doubt it now. I mean, it's only about 7 hours.
Fucking
I realise how that sounds.
Do you know what? The last time I properly binge watched anything was when I watched all 4 seasons of Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yes.
Which are 24 hours long per season.
Yeah.
And I did it in a week and a half because I was having a mental fucking breakdown.
That sounds like a pretty good mental breakdown.
I just didn't sleep. I just watched Battlestar Galactica instead. So
you dealt with your mental health with Fat Leodama.
Yeah, I really did.
There is no better way.
So anyway, the show that you've been watching, what is it? Tell me about it.
Well, firstly, I binged 3 shows. I watched season 6 of Grace and Frankie, which is awesome. I stand by it. I've watched all 6 seasons now. It is genteel and awesome, and I want to be them when I'm 80.
Is it both of them? Aren't they like polar opposites?
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to be just as fucking contrary as you are now.
Yes.
Okay.
But I might smoke more weed.
And live in a beach house.
I'm seeing absolutely nothing wrong with this.
Lots of cats on the beach. We should move to San Juan.
Can we?
I don't see why not.
Now?
It's not in the EU.
Neither are we! That was weird, coming back from holiday. Because we were sort of getting back into the UK.
Leaving the EU leave the EU?
We were getting back into the UK and we were like, which fucking line do we go in?
Because
we've still got the red passports, but we're not in the EU. It was horrible.
We're in a transitionary period.
It was really depressing.
So we get to do whatever the fuck we want for a year. I made sure that I... what's the word? Made it new again. What's that word? Replaced? Renewed. Renewed my European healthcare insurance card.
The newening.
The N-newening. The N-goodening of my EHIC.
Sounds legit.
I don't think I'm going to go to Europe at any point in the next year, but I felt like it was a useful thing to have. Oh, that's depressing, isn't it?
All of this is very depressing. In other news, I also binged season 2 of Sex Education.
I need to watch that.
Mm-hmm, you do.
I do.
You do.
There are already memes about it.
The ending I found really frustrating.
Oh no.
But phenomenal. Everyone should watch it.
Promise for a season 3?
Yes, it's been. I think it's been renewed already.
And
it's
renewed.
Renewing? I don't know. I can't do words anymore.
Renewing.
Yeah, let's go with that. That sounds good.
Can we?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's been renewed again. I feel like it's surprisingly, one of the more popular shows that Netflix have commissioned in the past few years.
And by all rights,
don't get me wrong, I loved season 1, but when I started watching it, I did so because I thought it was going to be trash.
Yeah, by all rights, it shouldn't be funny. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, imagine sitting in a boardroom and being like, I've got an idea about a family whose mum is a sex therapist and a virgin who decides to become a sex therapist for his school. Mm-hmm. Like, how does that sell?
It doesn't sound great on paper, does it?
The scripts, though...
Just every character I found myself falling a little bit in love with.
Right? Gillian Anderson was saying that when she first got the script for that role, she literally read it and went, this is trash, and threw it in the bin, and she thought more about it and realised that the way it would have been played would be hilarious, so she got it back out and took the role.
That's awesome. I'm glad she did. She's really good.
So, yeah, she basically went, nah, this is bullshit, and threw it away.
But I don't know how they've done it. They've sort of created this world that doesn't exist in real life. Obviously, I think we talked about it when Series 1 aired over a year ago now. But Netflix sort of started doing this thing where it was a little bit English and a little bit American. Yeah, like English, but at high school. It's set in England, but they all have lockers, and some of them have Letterman jackets, and the sun always shines. And it's not England as we know it. It's like hyper England. But they said they've done it on purpose because a lot of American audiences won't necessarily watch things that are really, really British. They want it to be accessible to both. Yeah, they want it to cross those divides, I guess, and just... I guess in the same way that something like It Follows created this weird anachronistic world that doesn't really exist anywhere, they've done kind of a similar thing but for comedy. Yeah, because everybody's clothes are like really out there and a little bit 80s but not quite, and like I love that. I'm all about that. Yeah, that kind of like late 80s, early 90s, mom jeans and yeah, and like the representation in this show is insane, but it doesn't feel crowbarred in. No, it feels very organic. It's just like, this character happens to be black, this character happens to be gay, this one happens to be asexual. Yep. And it doesn't feel like they're pushing an agenda or trying to score points with the woke crowd. Like,
no, it feels genuinely accessible, and it's
but considering the subject matter, it's really gentle and like.
But yeah, this is it. It's like it's funny and it's dark and it's wholesome and it's
and I never thought I would describe something as wholesome when they talk about wanking that much, but it really is.
It's comforting. It's that idea that like it's not just you.
Yeah.
That might have worries or problems or whatever,
like the widest inclusivity ever. Yeah.
No, I'm all about it. I'm really excited to see season 2. Actually, even if the ending might be frustrating.
It wasn't bad. It was just like, are they going to drag this out for another season? I've got to wait another year. Just like one of those kind of cliffhangery things. But it's not like more of the same as well. There's growth for all the characters. It's really solid stuff.
It is, and I recommend that everybody watches it actually, because I think it's got something for everyone.
Yeah, same.
And finally on our news front, we got a bit of game news. No,
kinda.
Yeah,
kinda. There was one more thing I binge watched, by the way.
Oh, what did you binge watch?
Yesterday that I forgot to actually get around to. I just spent the last 10 minutes talking about other stuff. So I think it came out last week.
Okay.
And it's called The Stranger.
Oh, right.
So last year, Netflix did a mini-series called Safe, and it was based on a Harlan Coben novel, and it was sort of very English, idyllic kind of... not murder mystery, it's kind of like... mystery,
was it
thriller,
like
drama.
Was it a cosy mystery?
Kind of, yeah.
I don't mind cosy mysteries actually.
Yeah,
I find it very easy watching.
I think you'd like it actually. But I guess that was successful enough that they commissioned another one of Harlan Coben's novels,
right,
and made The Stranger. Yeah, really compelling stuff.
Less cosy?
Slightly, but it's got that sort of nostalgic feel of like the sort of shows that I would have grown up watching with my mum.
You say stuff like that and I'm like, is it Midsummer Murder?
No, God no, it's not that. No, it's hard to describe. Like,
but it's British?
Very British.
Okay.
A lot of it was filmed in Bury, Bolton and Ramsbottom, because there were points when I was just like, I've been in that pub.
What decade?
Oh, present day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. As for some reason, as soon as anyone says British, I either think of Emma or Jolly Hockey Sticks.
No, neither of those. I would hesitate. I keep wanting to use the term whodunit. And it's not.
Okay.
But it's very compelling. There's loads and loads of threads. There's a lot to follow.
It sounds exhausting.
It's good. It's really good. There's a couple of characters in that you find yourself really rooting for.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
I don't know why I'm like, oh, lovely.
So,
no,
I had a lot of fun with it. It was good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you watched it in one day.
I did.
You must have quite enjoyed it.
I was very tired.
I am barely not get up surprised. Off the sofa. Oh my goodness. But yes, anyway, on to our games news.
Mm-hmm.
Which you know more about than I do.
Back to Netflix. We are dominating the conversation today for some reason.
They're smashing it. They're killing it.
Yeah, but they are... Well, I was about to say developing, but I think it's already well underway.
I think you're right, actually.
So they're doing a series of Resident Evil.
Ooh.
Which I'm tentatively excited about, but I won't lie, I would be more excited if it was Silent Hill.
So, I really... I loved Silent Hill, the film.
Oh, okay.
No, I really enjoyed it. And I think the reason that I enjoyed it was maybe because I never played the games.
I didn't a massive amount.
Because I can't play scary computer games because they're scary.
They're too immersive.
And I have to put them in the freezer.
Safe place.
Yeah, the safe place is putting them in the freezer. I am, to all intents and purposes, Joey Tribbiani. So I never really got on that train. Never really played Resident Evil either. Got through like 5 minutes of the first game and then noped out of there as soon as an enemy turned up. I just can't do it. It really freaks me out. I can watch scary films until as long as like the year is long or whatever, but games are too immersive and they freak me out and I don't like it and they need to go in a cupboard and shut up.
That's fair enough.
So I really enjoyed the films. I enjoyed the Resident Evil films. They were trash.
I enjoyed the first 2 a lot.
They were absolute bobbins.
I couldn't tell you. Was 3 the one where it went a bit western? Do you know, there was a lot of sand, if I remember. I might be confused.
Just in a sand pit, Sarah.
Maybe.
There was some flooding and they needed to make banks. Is the series going to star Emilia Jovovich?
I genuinely don't know, but I would doubt it.
Having, you know, when the words come out of your mouth and you're like, nah, she's like 8.5 months pregnant at the moment.
Is she?
Yeah, she is huge. she is blooming and very, very pregnant. Okay. So I doubt that she'll be fighting off like a zombie invasion at any time soon.
You never know.
Well, you know, that's true. But yeah, she's doing that whole family thing, I think. So maybe not. Ugh. Unless it was filmed like a year ago, I guess.
No, I feel like it would have leaked before now.
Yeah. Which disappoints me a little bit. So who's gonna...
I don't know.
Is there like any other news about it other than is it the development will be completed by June or it's coming out in June or...
I don't have the answers, I'm afraid.
Oh, God damn it.
The news is... I'm trying to think of, like, words that aren't shit to describe it. The news is new enough...
that it's kind of...
that there isn't an
mysterious
IMDb listing for it yet. So I can't find cast information. I can't find director information. That's about as much as I know. It exists, or it will exist.
That's really exciting.
Who would you cast if she's not in it?
Who
would be Alice? Was it Alice?
Yes. Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah, why not? Let's call her Alice.
Who would you cast in place of her? Because I'm guessing...
Actually...
I feel like if they're going to reboot the whole thing, they're probably going to go a lot younger.
No, I think Mackenzie Davis would be really good.
Yeah.
She would kill it.
Oh, no. You've created an unrealistic expectation now.
Or if we're going like the more mature actress who is not currently pregnant, maybe Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, I could see that.
She's a badass. I'd watch
she's
that.
Intensely likeable.
Yeah, I'd be all about that. But yeah, Mackenzie Davis would probably be my choice for...
Hell yeah.
Similar actress in a similar role.
Yeah.
I think she'd do it justice.
I don't know why. I've got a feeling, but they're going to try and cast somebody like... What's her name? Emilia Clarke, somebody like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, because it'll get bums on seats, basically, rather than actually being a fitting. I've started about 5 sentences and I haven't
That was
finished
a lot
any
of questions, none of which were complete.
Did Emilia Clarke play Sarah Connor?
She did in Terminator Genesis, which I haven't seen.
So that makes me feel like they wouldn't cast someone like her, or they wouldn't cast her for
But she's
Alice.
got an action precedent now, though.
Yeah, but
she's not very good.
In the same way that people watched films that Daniel Radcliffe was in and went, oh, it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I feel like they're either going to go, oh, it's Daenerys Targaryen, or oh, it's Sarah Connor.
If people recognise her as their Sarah Connor, they are good friends of mine.
I mean...
Linda Hamilton or GTFO.
We are talking about a very new generation.
Don't make me feel old right now. Don't you do that.
Literally, we are in the previous generation of Terminator.
Don't. I was at the doctor's earlier today, and the woman, you have to give your date of birth for them to find you on the database.
Yeah.
And the grown woman in front of me was like 1997, and I just kind of died inside a little bit. Like, you're an adult. I'm supposed to be an adult, but I don't feel like an adult.
Do you know what? People who are born in 2000,
don't.
They're 20.
People who were born the year I left high school can legally drink in America.
Wait, what? Yeah. That's insane. Because I was just thinking, I left secondary school in 2005. 98 to 2005. I was at secondary school.
But you have like college wrapped in.
I have sixth form wrapped
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not accurate, because I left high school in 99, but then I went to college till 2002. Right. Yes, I am aware I fucked up a year. I am aware it should have been 2 years and not 3.
Good one, Law. But if you left college in 2002, then that means they're just legal to drink.
Stop that.
Sorry. I'm not sorry. I find this entire ageing thing quite hilarious.
How extremely dare they? Is all I have to say.
I just like, this is it. This is all downhill from here, isn't it? We may as well make podcasts, drink wine and get fucked.
That's what we do anyway. The world is ending.
Oh, yeah. And also apparently I have a coronavirus. I'm so sorry.
Where is your breathing mask?
They are utterly pointless.
There were so many people in the airport in breathing masks, and I was just like, it's not airborne!
If nobody's... just wash your hands and don't shove your fingers in your mouth. You heard it here first, guys. That is how...
Other people's mouths.
Yeah, don't put your finger in other people's mouths and then lick it. That is how to not get the coronavirus. And if you get it, I think we'll all know where it came from.
I think, to be honest, that is just a good rule to adhere to at all times.
I'm going to tell Sophie that rule.
You should. She needs to hear it.
Because she's got very drunk and just put her finger directly into my mouth before.
That wasn't her. That was her drunk alter ego.
What's it called? Is it Trixie?
No, mine is Trixie.
Is it Crystal?
I think it might be Crystal.
I think it's Crystal.
On that note.
Yeah, sorry. So sorry. Anyway, speeding on, we checked out a film that I didn't really know anything about, and I'm surprised that I didn't know anything about it, having now watched it. It's actually a film that Phil really wanted to cover. And we thought it was such a good idea that we decided to cover it in his absence.
We did.
So we have been looking at The Invitation. It is Logan Marshall Green, and I still
not
have
Tom Hardy.
Not Tom Hardy, absolutely. I spent a good 2 minutes in the opening sequence just going, is that Tom Hardy? Is that Logan Marshall Green? Is that Tom Hardy with long hair? Does it matter? He's a very attractive man, and it turns out it's Logan Marshall Green.
He's the better Tom
Who
Hardy.
is he is the sexy faux Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch a Logan Marshall Green film. Don't at me.
I just realised I was just staring at you, and in my mind I was just imagining Logan Marshall Green.
God. I can see how this one's going to go.
Yeah, sorry. So the beginning of the... No, the beginning... Oh, fuck. I'm still thinking about Logan Marshall.
It's unlikely to end anytime soon. Do you want to give us a synopsis?
Yes, I do. Reluctantly accepting a dinner party invitation from his ex-wife at the house they once shared, Will and his new partner gather with old friends to toast new beginnings. But Will and his ex-wife share a tragic past, and as paranoia mounts and tensions build, he begins to wonder what is real and what is imagined. This claustrophobic evening grows increasingly sinister until a shocking revelation is made in this highly acclaimed and taut psychological thriller. And taut it is.
Taut is the word.
My bumhole is permanently screwed up.
It's just sealed shut.
Yeah, it's grown over itself by clenching so hard.
Yeah, this was the third time I've seen this film. I knew what was going to happen, and even I was like, "Oh, I've not breathed in a while."
We've been having a little glass of wine, yes. And we were sitting on the sofa holding our glasses of wine. And I did realise at one point I had to put my wine glass down because I was that close to crushing it. I have never been so tense watching a film. Really.
I would call it oppressive.
Yeah. It is like a fog of a film.
Yeah.
And it's like a thick blanket of what the fuck. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. So, I mean, obviously we're tackling this one because it's Women in Horror Month yet again.
Yes.
And this is directed by Karyn Kusama, who has done a bunch of other stuff. She directed Jennifer's Body.
Okay.
She did a segment in XX, which was an anthology film that I did not care for. She directed Destroyer, which was the Nicole Kidman film with Sebastian Stan in that I talked about a few months ago.
Yes, absolutely.
Which I highly recommend.
On my list.
She's just very, very good at tackling intense subject matter.
I mean, this feels like it has been written by somebody who is potentially slightly unstable.
I will say I don't think she wrote it.
Okay, so she directed it.
She directed it. But I think I read in the trivia that because it's independently produced, the writers and the director had complete creative control, which is slightly unusual.
But I really like that. I think that's the way it should be done.
Yeah, this is her vision without studio interference, and I think that's awesome.
So she so she took a script and then made it her own, basically. I know very little about her as a director, I'll be honest.
She does a lot of TV as well. I think I read that this was her first film in 7 years, so she took a bit of a hiatus.
I mean, she smashed it out the park.
She did.
I kind of can't wrap my head around how you direct a scene in order to instill tension and mistrust and paranoia and fearfulness. Like, I can't make that cognitive link.
I imagine it probably comes down to having a really good rapport and understanding with your cast. And there's got to be a lot of mutual trust there, I guess. You
could tell that all the casts were quite close.
The rapport that they had, the chemistry, you buy them as old friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And
there wasn't one person who was not stepping
awkward
up to
or out of place. Yeah, I found it really lovely actually that a lot of times through the film, like, the film is punctuated by people saying "I love you," and it really stood out to me. Not because it's not something that I do with my friends, because I tell my friends I love them all the fucking time.
But you don't see it that much.
But you don't see it, and people don't talk about it, and it's like this kind of weird clandestine, like, secret friend ritual that you do behind closed doors. And it was so nice to actually watch a film where people are just like, I love you as a person.
Yeah. And
I am glad you were in my life. Like, I loved that. It was so wholesome. I loved it. A little bit of brevity and, like, heartwarming sort of emotion that comes in to a film that realistically gets very, very fucking heavy very quickly.
I love that they take the time to build that, though.
Yeah.
They give you... The script is so clever and so intelligently written that you just get snippets of interactions with all the different characters, and you learn about them little by little, and you start to unravel their personalities and what they mean to one another. And I think it's really interestingly done.
I think that's, I mean, obviously it's done very deliberately, but I think the reason why they give you those snippets and kind of ingratiate you into this friendship group and show you parts of people's personalities is so that when you do get hit with these bombshells, they hit you on a really personal, emotional level.
Because you feel like you've gotten to know them.
Yeah, and it's like...
And you're sharing their trauma.
Yeah, you're sharing their grief, absolutely. There was more than one point during the sort of culminating factors of this film where I was getting a bit tearful because... There's situations that are definitely not out of the realms of possibility, and that grief was so tangible throughout the entire film from everyone as well.
Yeah, and like, not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I love the fact that they underused flashbacks.
Yes.
They didn't rely on flashbacks.
There were maybe 3.
Yeah, we were given tiny little glimpses, piecemeal, throughout the film, and it's not until the culmination that you actually realise exactly what happened to the couple's son.
Yes.
And then you realise that actually all their friends were present as well, so it's a shared trauma.
Yep.
And it just adds so much more weight, I think.
Yeah. The beginning of the film, you're aware that Will, who is Logan Marshall Green...
and
Eden were married. They are no longer married anymore, and there is obviously unresolved issues there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of apparent from the beginning of the film that, like, you automatically jump to, like, oh, maybe there was cheating, you know, infidelity, or maybe something like she did something terrible to him or something, but there's obviously a lot of, like, unresolved anger and grief going on there. So it's setting the scene already. And then as he's walking into the house, he looks... The house that he lived in with his wife, with Eden, he looks into a window and he sees a boy playing with, like, dinosaurs on the table, like a dinosaur puzzle. And he doesn't say anything to anyone, and there's no questioning it, and he hears, like, this kid's voice. But it's a very kind of sweet moment. It's almost like he's looking in the window at something that he not only used to have, but that, like, still exists in that space.
Yeah. I mean...
Because he hasn't been back to that house.
No.
And you get these, like, weird, like you say, these weird little flashbacks, which aren't necessarily in focus. There's no definite shot there. It's all messy and out of focus, and the colours are a bit weird. And it's very much like a kind of abstract thought sequence.
I think they all... treat the viewer with a huge amount of respect.
Yeah.
Nothing is spoon-fed. They give you just enough to put the pieces together yourself. And I kind of love that.
Well,
it's rare in American filmmaking. Not to sound... I don't mean that in a condescending way, but
there's a lot of like exposition and...
Yeah, generally they are quite heavy on... There's not necessarily a lot of subtext. And for that reason, I would say that this almost sits amongst what we've talked about recently as being elevated horror.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that, actually, because it makes the audience kind of work for it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily as self-indulgent as some of the other titles we've talked about. It's certainly not as long. But I think it shares a lot of characteristics.
It does have that kind of high art element to it because it's set in this grandiose house.
Gorgeous house.
Lots of wood panelling, and you come to find out that what looks like decorative panelling across the windows are actually metal bars.
Yeah.
And that's...
And the same pattern was reflected on the lamp.
Yeah.
At the end as well, which I had forgotten about.
And like, just, there are so many visual Easter eggs within the film that I feel like I've missed out on, and it would take me a couple more watches to start picking it up properly.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I would totally agree with you on the kind of like elevated horror section of it.
Because we should probably sort of say this is the first film we've done in months when nobody took notes.
No, we didn't.
But I think this is the sort of film that benefits from 100% immersion.
I was totally like, there could have been a fire happening behind me and I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah.
Like, I was so into what I was watching. And it's really rare that happens as well. I lose focus very quickly. And
which says a lot because it's very slow burn. Like, a lot of it is just conversations.
It is, but it's all conversations. I feel like every single word in that script
was carefully considered.
Means something. It's all very curated to paint a picture.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think that kind of script writing is just utterly mind-blowing. It's so intelligent.
I'll be honest, this, again, my third watch, it's taken me until the third watch to really sort of appreciate the full weight of the script. It's so clever.
It's very... What's the word that I want to use? It's very, very kind of erudite and...
It's succinct. It's not...
It knows what it wants to say. Yeah. There's no fluff.
There isn't a great deal of exposition. You learn things through visual flashes and very pointed dialogue. Nothing happens by accident, like you say.
And if you think realistically about the dialogue, comparatively to a lot of other films, there isn't actually that much.
No, not a huge amount.
Like... there are no long rambling conversations. No. Everything's very short, quite punchy. A lot of this film is people watching other people, which really adds to the sense of mistrust and paranoia. A lot of it is Will observing things happening around him and this growing feeling of unease that he's getting, but also a lot of the other characters are kind of side-eyeing other people, or they're seeing little bits and pieces, and it feels like a murder mystery.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I do. If you had been a part of that friendship group, if you'd been in that room that night, do you think you would have been a skeptic like Will?
Oh, yeah.
Or do you think you would have just, like, laughed it off and been like, well, this is a bit weird, but, you know, why?
No, I would have thought it was really fucking odd. I genuinely think I would have thought it was really odd.
I think I would have laughed it off to begin with, and then sort of maybe at the halfway mark I'd have been like, okay, how can I leave?
I think I would have done a Claire and left first and died first.
Did she, though? I love that that's left up in the air. We don't know.
And it's just him saying... Oh, Claire, can I just have a word with you about something?
I mean, we can probably assume that she died.
You never see You say that, though, but you never see outside of that part of the building again.
No.
It is inferred that Troy has been killed.
Choi, I think.
Choi. I heard Troy, sorry. It's inferred that he has been killed.
Yeah.
And they kind of really hammer it home, like periodically going, where is this guy?
Yeah.
He is not here. And then Will gets a voicemail message saying, I'm here, I'm early, I'm going to go inside. And he's like absolutely convinced. But then he's not, and he turns up. So is that another kind of red herring that they put in there to sow unease?
I'm sure. Like in the second half of that film... It's literally just setup after setup after setup, and the rug keeps getting pulled out from under you.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's definitely onto something. This is strange. This is culty. And then you're like, oh no, but is he crazy? And it's just that cycled. And I find it really interesting because you're sort of with Logan Marshall Green's character. You're sort of ostensibly seeing it from his perspective.
This film fucking gaslighted me.
Yeah, basically.
Like, it made me feel like I was crazy.
Yeah. But I love that they give you a sense of what it must have been like to sort of be his character and be like questioning your own sanity all the time and being like, no, I'm so convinced of this. No, but hang on, I've been through this awful traumatic event. It could just be my mind playing tricks on me. Yeah. And it just goes back and forth until obviously the big crescendo close to the end.
There's one point sort of quite near the end where he's basically lost his fucking mind at this point. And everyone around the dining table is just standing and staring at him. Mm-hmm. And you can see, like, his world just imploding.
He is such an underrated actor.
Smashed it.
Mm-hmm. You felt every emotion.
Yeah. Like, it was guttural.
Mm-hmm. It was heart-wrenching. Seeing him sort of just, like, stunned. And then he starts crying and he's like... Fuck.
Like, I'm sorry, yeah. Like, I can't make this better. I can't fix this. Mm. I fucked this all up. Mm-hmm. Like, I've obviously, maybe not to that extent, but, like, I felt that before. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt that kind of very visceral, like, I fucked this up and I can't fix it. Mm-hmm. And everyone's looking at me and I want to blink and disappear.
Mm-hmm. I think... One of the things I love about this film that makes it sort of stand above other films, we've talked about the chemistry between the actors playing the group of friends.
Yes.
But also they all kind of... The dialogue to me flows in a really realistic way. It never feels stilted. It never feels like, oh, some guy wrote that at a computer. It's just... It feels so organic.
It's got little tinges of... humour, it's got little tinges of sniping, mm-hmm. It's got friendly banter.
That familiarity that you only get from knowing somebody for such a long time.
I think their physical familiarity really adds to that as well. They're all very tactile. Mm-hmm. They're all, when they walk past each other, just like brushing arms or shoulders, or like they clearly all, it's a close-knit group of people.
And I think that's kind of cemented more, like you get more of an idea of how close knit they are when the two strangers are introduced and they're all a bit like, who the fuck are these people at our dinner party?
Why are you bringing these people into our circle?
Yeah, like they're not our friends, what the hell? Yeah. And you sort of get a sense of like, oh, these people go way back and this is a strange
they are outsiders
thing. Yeah
no, I completely agree. They've got this kind of like inner sanctum of friendship. I was totally disarmed by the addition of 2 extra characters. Mm-hmm.
Lindsay Bird just cropped up in quite a few indie movies.
Was she playing...
the crazy one, Sadie.
Sadie.
Who I can only assume one of Charles Manson followers was nicknamed Sadie. So I'm willing to bet...
Oh, okay.
That's why they chose that name.
I mean, yeah, I've never met a Sadie who wasn't a bit crazy.
I know somebody else who says the same thing. How weird.
All the Sadies I've ever met have been a little bit off kilter,
which is a shame because I really like the name.
Yeah, but if you ever had a kid, you can never call her Sadie. No. I would disown that child. You are going to be trouble.
I kind of love the first moment where you see her though, because she is naked from the waist down,
which emphasises her nakedity.
I was just about to say, there's no better way to make somebody look really, really naked than to only show their bottom half. That's worse somehow.
Right, like
being totally naked,
like socks, t-shirt, muff.
Nothing. It was so weird. But also, I think it adds to the...
And she was kind of, like, thrusting it out as well as she was
very proud of her fanny.
Yes.
But it fanny. Because Will is the only one that sees her at that point, it adds to the whole, is she an apparition, is he crazy, kind of like, this is a weird thing to see in the house.
Is that something to do with the story and the trauma and, like, this stuff that we don't know yet?
Yeah. Like, is he seeing things? Is she a flashback? Like, we don't know at that point.
And it turns out, no, she was a flasher.
Yeah.
And she is also mad as a bottle of frogs.
Batshit crazy.
Fucking hell.
She cray-cray.
She is really good at being crazy.
Yeah.
Like, so good. Totally believable.
I think what adds to it is when a clearly grown woman is that naive and childlike, it's inherently creepy.
Yeah, it's really weird. And sort of treating Pruitt, who is the other outsider that came
Lynch.
in, treating him phenomenal. Kind of like a dad.
Yeah,
like a weird father figure, and wearing like a baby doll dress, and it was
like, even when she was saying overtly sexual things, it was sort of naive
and really unsettling.
Yeah, but like the childlike giggles that she would, like the nervous laughter that surrounded the things that she said, would just added. I don't know if that was the actress's choice or a directorial choice, but that was really good.
Well, it worked, whatever it was. It creeped me the fuck out.
But equally, to talk about John Carroll Lynch.
Pruitt, yeah. He is one of those people that I see in so many films.
Yeah.
Has he been on TV as well? I feel like he's been on TV.
He's been all over. He's a very hard-working man. So
prolific. Can always go, it's that guy. Mm-hmm. And yet, can never offhand say where else I've seen him.
There was a few years where I confused him with Michael Ironside, and I don't know why. They're just both sort of bald.
And then there was that time where I confused him with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson because he is also bald.
The two are so similar.
Can you smell
John Carroll Lynch, his best role was in Jumanji.
Can you smell what John Carroll Lynch is cooking? He is so sinister. Mm-hmm. In a really deadpan, emotionless, has quite a kind face.
See, this is it. The scariest people, to me, are not the ones who are yelling and being overly threatening.
Yeah.
It's the softly spoken, calm ones that you want to fucking worry about.
The calm ones who are not, they're not angry, they're not upset, they're not happy, they're not anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're hard to read.
Or, they are completely unpredictable, and you don't know at what point they are going to snap.
Yeah, you don't know, like, at any point they're just going to be like, wild card!
Wild card, Batman! And he takes that to another level by his character having found a new sense of calm from having brutally murdered his own wife.
Oh, just the calm way that he tells that story, and then talks about, I went to jail, and like everybody's jaws are just like on the floor.
You're at a dinner party and you're talking about hitting your wife as hard as you possibly can around the head. And the way in which he holds up his hand while he's describing her reaching out to him before she dies. And, it's horrific.
At which point, the hero of the piece, Claire, leaves.
What a gal!
The quiet hero that sends cat memes.
She said, right, yeah, exactly that, right? She's really sweet. She hugs everyone a lot. She sends people cat memes. She decides that all of this... And penguin videos. She decides that all of this, like, weird culty shit probably isn't for her. And when they go, oh no, don't leave, she goes, no, fuck you, I'm leaving.
She's who I would want to be in that movie. I mean, she probably died, but still, respectably.
You know how there's a website called Does the Dog Die?
Oh, does the Claire die?
Does the Claire die? Does the Claire die?
I feel like that website might be quite limited.
Yes. I feel like she's the, like, secret final girl.
Oh.
It's just going to be a shot at the end of the film with her lying back with a glass of wine being like, thank that's over.
I would love that.
With her cats.
Claire was the best.
Looking at penguin videos. And wholesome memes. We all need to be a little bit more Claire in 2020, I think.
I like that.
The only character I think I didn't necessarily get along that well with was Gina.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
The party girl nature of her seemed a bit affected.
Bit vacuous.
Yeah, like, it was just all about... She just seemed very, not even necessarily vacuous, but just like, not... You could just hear your cat licking his bum hole.
Get used to that.
And it's ruining my thoughts. There was no seriousness to her up until the point where she thought her boyfriend had been killed.
True. She had a nice moment with Will.
And she was just kind of a bit like snipey and a bit vacuous, like
you say, vacuous. The rest of the time, she was just like cocaine.
She was like cocaine and kissing girls and wearing shorts and like I don't know, wearing shorts isn't a problem. She can wear shorts all she wants.
She
was the one character that I didn't like as much as I liked all the other characters.
Yes, I would agree. She was one of the less sympathetic characters.
Yes. And part of me wonders if that was because that was the way she was written, and part of me wonders if it was because that was the way she was played.
Probably a little of column A, a little of column B, I would estimate.
Which I thought was kind of a shame. Like, she had this weird manic pixie dream girl thing going on. But like late 30s.
Yeah, I sort of got the impression that she would have been a mean girl in high school.
Yeah. She definitely would have had a burn book.
Yeah.
She would have eaten girls like me for breakfast. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And told me I was ugly or something. And I would have cried.
Rosie Baker is a fugly slut.
There's not, realistically... without giving massive spoilers about the end, although I think we should pay it a bit of...
I mean, I think if we sort of say from here on out, there be spoilers.
We're going to spoil this shit.
You're covered.
The point at which things go from bad to fucking awful...
And it's very quick.
Oh, it's like a lead weight got dropped. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, basically, all the cast gets killed.
Because they spend... such about an hour and 20 minutes building and building and building, and it sort of goes from 1 to a 2 to a 3, and then you're at 10.
Yeah, and it's like this backwards and forwards, like ebbing and flowing of the idea that is it a cult, or is he just crazy, or is he just seeing things, or actually is this a cult, or is it just like a spiritualist thing, and we've all been massively blindsided by the idea that it's a cult, and are we reading things wrong? And then you start second guessing what happens and going, this looks like it's a cult, so I'm going to say it's not a cult. And then they give out these like glasses for a toast, and it's glasses of red wine, which is why we've been drinking red wine.
Yeah, sure.
Also, we like red wine.
That's definitely why.
And Will freaks out at the last second and goes, "No, don't fucking drink that. No, don't fucking drink that. No, don't fucking drink that."
Before Gina's
taken a sip.
But even after that scuffle happens and everybody's kind of like gobsmacked at how Will's slapping glasses out of hands, and then your attention is redirected yet again, and Gina's on the floor foaming at the mouth and not breathing.
He was right all along.
But then you still have that moment of doubt because she'd been doing loads of coke.
Yeah.
So there's still I still don't know what's going on. I don't know what to trust.
The thing is, it's not one specific thing that gives you the answers. It is different parts from different players that culminate in an answer. So it's obvious, having watched the film now, that yes, it was a cult. They have to kill everyone in order to reach their ascendant plane or whatever.
It's all a bit Heaven's Gate, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. But Gina falls over, is foaming at the mouth, having drunk the wine. She is the only one who has drunk the wine. She is also the only one who has taken the coke. But Sadie's going, "You fucking ruined it. You ruined everything. You've spoiled it."
Knives and...
And those two together is okay, this is very clear what is happening now. But it, like you say, it's never spoon-fed. It's never oh, you didn't drink the death wine for the death, and now nobody's dying. How could you have done this? I can't believe you've done this.
The whole movie is kind of an exercise in subtlety.
I love it.
It's giving you the bare minimum.
I really like having to work for it a bit.
Yeah. Right?
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Riles me up.
I just love the fact that, there's just a huge sense of unease pervading the entire film, but it's not until like the halfway point where you see them walking, there's that slow-mo shot of them walking up the stairs, and you're like, right, it's going somewhere now, and it just continues to build and build and build, and my heart is in my chest from that point onwards. Yeah. Until that happens, and you're just like...
But you feel like... the best way I can think to describe it is you feel like when you're watching from that point onwards, you can breathe in, and you can breathe in expectantly, and you're breathing and waiting for something to happen, like you're holding your breath for something to happen. But when it does happen, you can't breathe out. There is no relief from that crescendo and that massive thing happening. People are getting stabbed, people are getting shot. It's insane. It's insanity. It's chaos.
Yeah. But I think it's I think what I love about this film the most is that it's so grounded in reality. It all feels like it's plausible.
Because they're all really messy deaths as well. Nobody's just like, bam, you're dead.
Nobody's got superhuman strength.
Nope.
Nobody, like, they don't have time to make intelligent decisions. It's over so quickly, and like... I don't know, it feels real. It feels really grounded.
Well, this is it. Like, this whole sort of chaotic episode can only last, like, 15 minutes of the film?
Maximum, yeah.
And it's really fucking, like, high octane. Everybody is just... Everyone's running or hiding or screaming or getting shot or getting stabbed, and it like you don't know where to look on the screen, and you're watching I think it's a pointed thing, and I think it's really intelligent. There are loads of windows in all the shots and loads of doorways in all the shots, and you are constantly looking for something to come out of the shadows. You are waiting for a jump scare because you are so tense, and that's what you expect to happen, and it never comes. Like,
but it doesn't need to.
No, like, because you're still really fucking tired.
Yeah, the thrill of the expectation is enough.
But this is it. A lot of films who have that have like specific jump scares, they do it because they ramp up the tension really quite quickly, and then they have little bits of relief with jump scares. So you go, oh my god, I'm really fucking scared, and then, oh thank fuck that's over, and then it builds back up. This is ramping up very slowly to high tension, and it plateaus at like butt clenching.
Yeah, and doesn't relent until the credits,
and doesn't even necessarily relent at the credits either. So what's his name? Eden's husband, Simon? Chris?
David?
I
think it's
He's
David.
Got a really boring name.
I want to say David. The guy from Haunting of Hill House.
Yes, the guy from Haunting of Hill House.
And Game of Thrones.
Who did he play in Game of Thrones?
He was the second Dario Naharis.
Oh, shut up.
He was
wasn't he?
He was the guy that replaced the other dude from Deadpool, whose name I forget.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, okay. I suddenly... Yeah. He goes out into the garden at one point and just lights a red lantern with a long match. It's never spoken about. The only person who sees it happening is Will. It's not commented on, and you don't see it until right at the end of the film, where Will and Kira are standing next to it, and they look out over the hills and they realise that the town is awash with red lanterns.
I kind of love that because it fits so well with the elevation of the scale of it and the tension, and then that final moment where you realise the magnitude of what's happened,
and that there's no relenting. There's no, it's not like it's over.
Yeah. And you hear all the sirens and like...
And the gunshots and the screams, and it's apocalyptic.
Yeah. And I love that. And I think...
And they have that...
Like, re-watching it, it's quite interesting to see how that's drip-fed when they're having the conversation and they introduce their friends to the concept of the invitation.
Yeah.
Because obviously, at the beginning of the film, you hear the invitation and you just think of that they've been invited.
It is
to
an
a dinner
invitation,
party.
yeah.
And it's not until halfway through the film you realise the invitation is the cult.
Yeah.
And just the fact that when they're talking about it and trying to justify it and tout it to their friends by saying, like, you'd be surprised how many people are in this. Thousands.
Yeah. And they kind of like laughing off. And
yeah.
Do you think it's a bit of a statement, because it's in LA, isn't it? Do you think it's a bit of a statement of like brainwashing
probably
within like the LA elite?
Probably. Wouldn't surprise me.
It's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Could double bill it with Starry Eyes.
Ooh,
that'd be good.
That's on my list.
Have you not seen it yet?
No.
Ooh, let's do a show on that.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's a quick shout out to the fact that, obviously, Women in Horror Month, we do not only have a final girl.
Yes.
We have a final girl of colour.
Which I fucking loved. Like, she owned all the way through that film.
She was a badass, but not in, like, the kicking ass kind of badass.
No, she just was badass.
Was really level-headed, really good head on her shoulders, really well put together, and like even in the final moments where she's like freaking out, as you would,
you can see her trying to like hold her shit together,
and she basically saves Will.
Yeah,
love it,
by killing the coyote,
starving his head in. Yeah, mercy killing.
And that's what it is, realistically, isn't it? Like, this guy was so drawn in by a cult.
Mm-hmm. I think it's quite interesting as well, because a lot of people have made the direct comparison to Get Out, in that the central couple are mixed race. They both start the film on a journey somewhere. They both hit an animal that they have to mercy kill.
Yeah.
There's actually a surprising number of parallels, but whereas Get Out was very... This is what it is. This is about race.
I was about to say, yeah, it was very kind of on the nose about...
Yeah. This film, it was just like, they're mixed race, but that's just fine.
I think that was a...
It wasn't a comment on anything. It was just like...
Yeah, it was an observation more than a comment.
Yeah.
And actually, the point of the film was about, like, the brainwashing of the masses and how, like, critical thinking and how trauma and grief... if you don't deal with them, can lead you into some dark places and doing dark things.
The couple things I want to give a quick shout out to before we start wrapping up.
Yeah, of course.
We've talked about Logan Marshall Green.
Yeah.
We talked about John Carroll Lynch. Everyone's got a double-barreled name in this film. We haven't given any lip service to Tammy Blanchard.
Okay.
Who plays Eden.
Where do I know her from?
I don't know. I haven't really seen her in a great deal of stuff. She's got such a good actress.
I really know.
But I think she is sort of not given enough credit for her role in this film. Like
her underlying... The portrayal of somebody who inside is a broken person, but outside is...
There's this
charismatic
facade.
And happy and keeping it together and this calmness about her, and she really adds this like unnerving edge to her calmness as well. And which
obviously retroactively makes sense that they're also calm because they've accepted their fate. They know what's coming,
and she's taking phenobarbital
and that.
But she I always really credit an actor when they can fear shake. Like, I don't know why it's such a specific thing to be good at.
It's a very visceral
reaction. That like shaking like a frightened dog.
At the end, where she sort of realises it's all gone tits up, you mean?
And actually realising that all this stuff that she believed in isn't real and it's not true. And she's just shot herself in the stomach.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man. That would make me shake. That would. And again, it's that visceral feeling of, I fucked up and I can't fix it.
Yeah, I can't, there's no undoing it.
And I feel like that's a recurring theme throughout the film. But it feels like he's fucked up and he can't fix it because he wasn't watching his son well enough.
I think it's a very universal thing as well. Everybody's had that moment at some point. But
it's just so heart-wrenching. It's so, like, guttural. That idea of, like, nothing you can do can change what's happened.
Yeah.
And it's utterly devastating. Yeah, it got me quite upset. It did. It upset me quite a bit.
But I think that's sort of testament to how good she was in that role.
For sure.
Like,
yeah.
I think everybody in it just was able to elicit a range of really intense emotions.
It was a very intense film.
Yeah. I think the most stressful part of this was that she kept pouring red wine wearing a white dress.
Oh my god. And they were spilling it and it cost so much money.
The real crime is the dry cleaning budget.
Also the paltry amounts of wine they were pouring into the glasses.
But it was like,
oh, we may as well drink this, we're having a lovely time. Fucking give me a full glass then.
The older the wine, the gooder the wine.
What, the less there is of it? Give me a full glass. So, yeah, that's my takeaway. They needed more wine.
Agreed. 9 out of 10, more wine.
Any film that has that much expensive red wine in it is alright by me.
I wonder what the wine budget was. I wonder if they had
was it Ribena?
Oh, no.
I'd like to think that they actually let them just get drunk on set.
I hope so. Or at least after they'd stopped filming, they probably deserved it.
As we have so often done in the past, not necessarily so recently, but we're trying to again, we have been searching for some 1-star reviews for you from IMDb.
I'll be honest.
Have you found any?
I found a couple, actually.
Are they Aegis?
They've not been terribly easy to come by, because most of the reviews are very complimentary.
Yes, as they should be.
But I have found a 1 out of 10.
A 1 out of 10er?
Titled Boring and Predictable.
Predictable? Yeah, they were in a car and he went, oh, I bet it's going to be about cult.
Warning, spoilers.
Good start.
That ship has sailed. Boring and predictable, but not at the same time.
Wait, what? So it was exciting and predictable at one point, and it was boring but unpredictable at the other point?
One can only assume. The first 80 minutes were about as exciting as watching paint dry. No one could have predicted the film could be that uneventful for that long.
It wasn't uneventful!
Then it got predictable.
Oh my god, you didn't look at anything.
All of the stuff you've been waiting for finally happened. 15 minutes of lukewarm action that you thought would happen earlier in the movie finally trickles out. He rude. He need him some milk. It pisses out in full force. It doesn't trickle out, for fuck's sake.
Coming out of him like a yellow cable.
That is too specific a visual. Please undo that. Then, just as the last moments of the film arrive, a surprise ending! Exclamation mark.
Is it?
Which, instead of being sprung on you hoping to leave a lasting impression, is instead gradually introduced so that 30 seconds later, the big reveal is now a tepid event that caught you onto... that you caught on to 20 seconds ago. 29 if somehow your brain hadn't turned off before that. The movie will make you wish for the time of analog TVs when you could tune to a non-station and just watch static.
Did he just watch static? Is that all he understood?
I mean, I fucking hate people that are like, if you didn't like it, you just didn't understand it. But I don't think that guy understood it.
Right? No, I am the first person to say, like, you are more than entitled to not enjoy something.
Course.
As long as you've got decent fucking reasoning for it. If your reasoning is, it were boring because nothing happened, then you're not watching the fucking film.
This is objectively a really good film.
There is so much going on in the background.
But I can understand why the pacing isn't to everyone's taste.
Yeah.
Thematically, it might not be to everybody's taste, but, like, it's a fucking great film.
And it's tonally really consistent in its unpredictability.
Agreed.
Like, it has no set tone to it, but it does it in such a way that it's not jarring.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's sort of, for me, it's notable that it's one of the few horror movies I can think of that actually deals with grief in that sort of a way.
In a really sort of tangible
way.
That
isn't also a revenge movie.
Yeah.
It's just a really interesting meditation on grief and what it can do to people. Even the same
heartbreaking it can be.
How people deal with things differently. And I don't know, I just think it's interesting. It's well acted. It's beautifully lit and shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Incredibly well directed. The screenplay was just chef's kiss.
I feel like a film by its very nature is a commentary on, you know, either socio-political, economic, like the state of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this film was a really good and interesting and well thought out and reasoned commentary on sadness and unresolved trauma.
Mm-hmm. Without being judgmental or offering any...
Yeah, it was just very...
judgment or solutions.
It was very matter of fact. Yeah. And it was just a mirror to your own sort of trauma and horror and grief that you might have gone through. It was very mirrored, I feel. And I fully appreciate that. And I feel like it treated people with respect and like they were intelligent. And I like that
Which
too.
is pretty rare, particularly in horror.
Yeah. I'd be glad to see more of her stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like. So
I think you'd enjoy Destroyer.
Okay, one to add to the list. And on that note, I feel like it's time we should wrap up this show. We have had an absolute blast recording it for you. We're really excited to get recording on the next show for Women in Horror Month as well.
Yeah, we don't know. Well, we've got a couple of things on this shortlist, but we don't know quite what it's going to be yet.
If you have any suggestions and there's anything you think would be particularly pertinent for us to cover, then give us a shout on something like Instagram or Facebook and we will absolutely take it on board and then do whatever the fuck we want.
Disregard it completely because we're the boss.
We love you guys. We've had a blast. We will see you next time. Stay spooky.
Thanks so much for listening. Bye.